The Stanford Cardinal have made a trip to the Final Four, almost a regular part of every season, and behind Alex Kleinman, John Dunning's team could be back there once again. Hannah Shutra is one of the most dominant players in the land, and Rich Feller is looking for a possible title run. It's Cal Stanford tonight in the Big Spike, next. From Haas Pavilion on the beautiful campus of the University of California. Yep, they're restless and ready for the premiere of Pac-10 Volleyball 2009. And what a matchup we've got here tonight on Pete Newell Court. The number 10 Stanford Cardinal against the number 12 Golden Bears, both at 7-3. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us once again for Pac-10 Volleyball. And with Holly McPeak, three-time Olympian and also an NCAA champion, you have been through the grind of the Pac-10 Conference. What are these young women thinking about tonight as they enter this contest? Well,
there's never an easy match in the Pac-10. This is a big match for both teams. Both teams have had a rough start, 7-3, unusual for Cal and Stanford. Pac-10 is the most challenging conference in the country. They've won 5 of the last 8 NCAA titles. Pac-10 teams have won 13 overall NCAA titles, and this is a big match for both teams.
And Stanford has won 6 of those NCAA championships, but they lost so much from last year's team that eventually lost to Penn State in the NCAA finals. How do they fill that void?
Well, Stanford has a lot of talent. They can't depend on Alex Kleinman as much as they could in the past. She's recovering from shoulder surgery. She's swinging at balls every other night. Still a fantastic player. But for Stanford to do well, they're going to need to spread out the offense and take the pressure off Alex.
And for the California Golden Bears, to the Final Four for the first time in 2007, Hannah Shutra was a sophomore out of Croatia then. Now she's a senior. And she's been carrying them in some big wins like the match over Hawaii.
Hannah Shutra is a strong outside hitter from Cal. She averages almost 5 kills per set, 4th nationally. She's a fantastic athlete, but Cal needs to spread their offense around as well. Hannah Shutra cannot win the Pac-10 by herself. She needs help. Mindy Wiley is playing fantastic for Cal. Look for her to have a great match.
And now let's take a look at our probable starting lineups. First for Stanford, dressed in cardinal and black, Janet Okoba will play in the middle. Joanna Evans, the senior setter, along with Cassidy Lickman, who's just having an all-American season so far. Going to be very, very hard to ignore. Leading attacker and percentage hitter for Stanford so far. Gabby Ailes in the contrasting jersey, fine libero out of Nebraska. Stephanie Brown, redshirt sophomore middle blocker. Haley Spellman, 6'6", freshman, former Nevada Player of the Year, wearing number 21. And the aforementioned Alex Kleinman. For the California Golden Bears, All-American Carly Lloyd, now a junior, playing with a sore left thumb. Megan Schmidt is the defensive specialist. Kat Brown will play at one middle blocking position. And in the backcourt, Kristen Cathan out of Moraga, California, will be the libero. Tara Murray, an outstanding freshman season, but falling off a little bit as a sophomore. Mindy Wiley in the middle, and there is Hannah Shutra. And the head coach for the California Golden Bears, Rich Feller, in his 11th season here in Berkeley, 25th overall, the 2007 National Coach of the Year. And his counterpart, John Dunning, his 9th year on the farm, also his 25th overall, and we are underway. These two teams split their 2 meetings last year. That ball hit out of bounds, and Tara Murray will go back to serve.
Both teams rely a lot on their outside hitters. Both teams need to establish the middle to open up some holes for the outside.
One-on-one block immediately by Hannah Shutra.
Beautiful solo block. Hannah Shutra lined up perfect on freshman Haley Spellman. Solo block, but she got tooled. Her hands out of bounds.
And that ball served out of bounds by Alex Kleinman. Kleinman now a junior out of Miracosta High School, and as we mentioned, and I talked to her earlier about her shoulder and what she's been through over the last several months to try to get that very valuable right arm back in shape. Pretty nice transition set to the left side, and you're going to see an awful lot of that. Shutra with a big bomb off the left.
Hannah Shutra hit such a high, heavy ball. She gets her body behind that ball.
Mindy Wiley now back to serve. Junior middle blockers. Been putting up superb efficiency numbers. Misses that ball long. Best 3 out of 5 set match. First 4 sets to 25 points. Must win by 2. Fifth set if necessary to 15. Stephanie Brown out of Danville, California. And misses that serve badly.
A lot of missed serves already to start this match. I think both teams know that passing is the key here, so they're trying to put a lot of pressure on each other and able to make it tough to run the offense, especially to the middle.
Here is Carly Lloyd, an All-American last year. Boy, that is a very, very awkward misplay that time by Kathan in the backcourt. Holly, she was all over that tip, and maybe just early Pac-10 opener nerves or whatnot. That's a play she should make easily.
A little too much adrenaline on that, trying to push that ball to the net, goes over, and Cassidy Lickman knows what to do with it.
First look at Haley Spellman, and yet another service error. When we talked to both John Dunning and Rich Feller, they said we've got to win the serve and pass battle. What do they mean by that specifically?
Well, obviously you need to serve your opponent tough, get them in some tough positions, and you need to pass well so you can run the offense.
Quickly out of the middle, not there yet. Koba rattling, can't get the ball to the floor, and Lloyd will just keep the ball in play. Tight set to the left side and successfully tipped to the floor that time by Alex Fisher.
Very smart play by Alex Fisher, but it was set up by Cassidy Lickman running that middle. She set Janet Akova 3 times in a row, then pushes it outside, opens things up for Alex Fisher on the outside.
Lickman keeps that serve in play. Fisher off the right side. Shooter, a much improved defensive player this year. And Tara Murray, not once, but with the second effort, able to tap that ball down. And throughout the course of the match, we'll be showing you some very critical information. This on Joanna Evans at the bottom, what they're majoring in, interests before their college career began, and what it will lead to eventually when they finish their respective careers. Easily off the left side, Alex Kleinman. Have you ever played with a serious shoulder problem that you had to sort of work your way around?
One event, and it was awful. But that nice quick set to the outside by Cassidy Lickman to Alex Kleinman opens it up, so she just doesn't need to worry about the heat. Just a nice, easy snap down.
Ailes for Stanford. They're working on Shutra. Right side, block on the outside, easily done by Kleinman. 6-all opening set here at Berkeley.
This is a backslide to Mindy Wiley, Alex Kleinman, and Stephanie Brown. Huge block on that play.
Murray successfully off the top of the block and down.
Stanford has been doing a lot of scouting, and they know that Cal is going outside, 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 and they've been setting up their defense all week to shut that down.
Megan Schmidt, defensive specialist in the starting lineup, now back to serve for Cal in their home whites. Stanford has absolutely dominated this series. Klein stepping inside. That ball was headed out of bounds off the top of the tape. Murray not able to get out of the way.
Alex Kleinman coming back from shoulder surgery. That's an angle that not many people can hit. It's an inside set, and she's still hitting that sharp angle.
67th meeting all time. Stanford has won 60 of the previous matchups. Murray, an unforced error down the line. And when we talked to Rich Feller about his fine sophomore, Pac-10 all-freshman performer last year, just making way too many unforced errors, and that's a clear example.
You're right. I still think Cal can force the middle a little bit more, take the pressure off Tara. It's tough when you have a block just waiting outside for you every time.
Great dig by Ailes, off a rocket by Shooter, and Kleinman able to put that ball away.